I am Vengeance, I am the Mystic Knight, I am Batman. Welcome back to Final Fantasy V Four-Job Fiesta. This is another off-streamed video as I once again have come to a roadblock on a boss that I understand causes many a roadblock for folks. So let's speed past this intro bullshit and get to what matters, the fight! So the 4 crystals very much fucked me up. Did not remember how they worked from my playing this game many an aeon ago, but it quickly became apparent when I was going through what the situation was. And so after the last failure that you may or may not, maybe you didn't see it, maybe this is your first time tuning in for some reason, I kind of wanted to start with part 26 to dabble your feet in the water a bit, see how that works. So I thought about my grueling defeat and the implications of it and what this could mean as far as strategy. So I came to a conclusion. With the party I have, this boss is kind of odd. As an apparent weakness sort of came up that I don't really have a good single nuke source of damage. I have kind of a wide nuke of damage, which is nice. But with this boss, that's a bit problematic because when you get any of these crystals below a certain threshold of HP is when they start whipping out their big guns at you. So off stream, I did a couple of fights to try and, I didn't want to be, that guy who has a calculator out and is like, well, it looks like after 4,500 HP is when, I didn't want to do that, so I went with a more cash route and just kind of let my party get fucked up over and over again until I saw kind of the basic range, and it looks like it's somewhere between 3,500 and 4,000 HP for each one is when they start going, you're gonna get fucked up. So what that means is 2 Titans, whip out 2 Titans. In a fight prior, I tried whipping out 3 Titans. I was like, oh, my party's dead. No, that's wrong. But fortunately, I got the high potions, which I tested this. Turns out if you heal them back over their threshold, they'll stop fucking you up. So what this fight becomes then is very much a slog. It becomes a bit of a slog because my biggest source of damage is unfortunately Titan, but Titan hits everybody. So I figured out the best way to go about this, I think, is to get all of the top 3 crystals to that threshold, and also, oops, get the top 3 crystals to that threshold, and then, ideally, whip out Titan, again, with both summoners who have Gaia gear equipped. That makes Earth more earthy, and frankly, it rocks. I'm naughty. So, ideally what will happen, what I was hoping would happen in this fight, is that the 2 summoners with Gaia Gear Enhanced Titan would be enough to wipe out all 3 of the top crystals. And if they're not, then, well, we'll have to go back to the drawing board, won't we? But we'll see how this happens here. I can see how this fight in particular, and probably more than any other, could be a real point of no return for some layouts. Particularly, I know that the 4 Berserker run succeeded. I think whoever did that beat off Exta successfully. But this fight, how? Does instant death work on them? Because I know Berserkers can have that instant death proccing axe. I know that's a thing. But short of that, do they just do so much damage that maybe do you just get lucky with them targeting the same one over and over again? But I'm going through the mental gymnastics of it all, and I just don't see how a 4 Berserker party gets through this. Maybe certain combinations of gear? Switching out weapons? I don't know. Can Berserkers use shields? I don't know, maybe they have high block shield. I got nothing. I got nothing, frankly. most other party loadouts, I can see, you got your black mage, you got your single nuke source of damage, that seems to be good. You got your knights, which, good single targeting, fine. But if you are a Fiesta-er and you run into a particular problem with this boss, tell me your party loadout in the comments or Twitter @, what have you. So my initial mistakes coming into this fight were, one, assuming that each crystal, and this is a Final Fantasy thing, I think it's not an unsafe assumption to make. Coming into this, assuming each crystal has a particular weakness. So for example, the one that casts Firaga, I would assume would be weak to Blizzard, but testing this both in the fight you saw and offline, that proved to be not true. I mean, as far as I could tell, experimenting, none of these crystals are really susceptible to anything. Except Titan, which only because Titan just does a lot of damage. It's the single highest source of damage I currently have at my disposal. I tried casting Break on my sword. They are not susceptible to Break, which would have been great, but does not seem to be the case here. So yeah, I don't see any other alternative but to wipe out the crystals that I can with Titan. This will hopefully... Now, the issue here, the bottom crystal, as you will have noted, absorbs Earth. Welcome to it. But because of that, this creates a bit of an issue, in that without Titan, I don't really have a strong single source of damage. I have my Mystic Knight, I got Diabetus up there, but at best he hits for 500. It's not that much. I don't have some, like, super do 2,000 and above source right now. Which means, and when I was going through this, I didn't know what exactly that bottom one did once it became angry. Though I'll find out. But if it's something that sucks for the party, then, well, it becomes just a very quick war of attrition. Or a war of Phoenix Downs and potions, frankly. But it's a very delicate fight. Also, I'm not sure... One, since I wasn't using the calculator technique, I don't really know how much HP these crystals have total. So if the 2 Titan combo does not wipe all 3 of them out, then my party is essentially dead. And then I'm stuck wondering, the fuck am I gonna do about this now? But here we are. We're at the situation, all 3 crystals on top are at their point of... They're at the threshold of, we gonna fuck you up and kick your ass in that... Not necessarily in that order. There's gonna be ass kicking, and there's gonna be the fucking of my party up. Also, high potions just not quite doing it. Come on, get more there. But I was too impatient to do the actual math, so it seems to be like around the 4,000 range of damage to each of them. But now we gotta prepare. Now all 3 crystals after the double high potions are at their threshold for doing some damage. So I've got to take every precaution here, make sure that my party is as healthy as it can be before unleashing the fury, and I want to get to where my summoners attack back to back. So that way, the 2 Titans that'll do approximately 3,500 damage to all of them. Regall them up. That is the nice thing about this party, is that when the crystals are not provoked, they can't hurt me. As far as I can tell. But if the Titans do not wipe out these crystals, then, well, it's over. Also wanted to wait until all 3 crystals had taken their turns so they can't do bad shit. Mystic Knight kind of got in between the 2 summoners, but maybe that's not bad. And if I get lucky, the Geomancer maybe will do something not useless with Gaia? well about that. But this is manageable. It's only one of them. So therefore, one more Titan. It's okay. So that worked out. We're not all completely dead. Which gets into the X factor of this fight, because at this point, I had not gotten this far into the fight, so... This is the wild card crystal, not sure what it does. I know you got Aqua Breath, you got Firaga, you've got other kind, or Aroga. I'm not sure about that term. Aroga. I mean, it sounds too much like a cartoon effect, like Awuga, but it's Aroga. So I can't take your mystic spells seriously. So this crystal I don't know enough about, so the only real, yeah, stop doesn't work on it, of course. I don't know what elemental absorptions it has. The Geomancer keeps that up, that's decent. But what it looks like to me is that this crystal will have at least, well, probably several turns to, and I'm assuming these crystals only do their super attacks once they get below that damage threshold. So what is it? Like you gotta do about between 3,500 and 4,000 more damage to the crystals after they reach their anger point? Maybe? Or no, not that much, because the subsequent Titan wiped out 2 of them. So it's around 2,000. 1,500, 2,000-ish? Although the bat crystals seem to have more HP? I don't know. Now, if Geomancer can keep that up. Okay, so at this point it's like, do you YOLO it? You don't want to waste time healing the party because you'll just need to heal them again, so... go for it, right? As I panic my way through the menu. Yeah. Thanks, Geomancer. Now this is the first time in the game where Magic Shell is actually saving my ass. Because what I can do, at this point, heal up the Mystic Knight to full. Diabetus has like 1,100 HP, something like that. And I have enough high potions where this should work. Heal up enough, whip out a couple of sword attacks. Or heal up enough and just attack until you can't attack anymore. Oh, well. Turns out it's not so bad. Diabetus hogs the ABP, but I'll live with it. That's a YouTube comment, I think. Well, I mean, the party should have been a little suspicious when they saw that they were attacking crystals. I mean, they looked like little slimy neon slugs before, but they were clearly crystals. Always be wary when you're destroying... I mean, yes, you turn them into crystals here in the overworld, but when we were fighting them, they were clearly crystals. Now, what the question is, what jobs do these crystals have that we don't currently have? Like, would they be super advanced? Maybe X-Death is in itself a job. What would be the abilities of X-Death that you equip? Like, I died once, but not really? No, Krill, I think that's the gummy worms you've eaten. Too many of them. Now, what would be great is if the Forest of Moor was it's populated by cows instead of Moogles. That would make the name make a little more sense to me. Yes, I know Moor and the Moogle start with the same thing, but come on. A forest of cow people. That'd be great. Now, Krill, or is it Kryl? I've heard Kryl. I've heard Krill. I'm gonna need a canonic. I'm gonna need. So one person on YouTube comments phonetically spell it out Kryl, and another person, or the same person, phonetically spell it out Krill, and we'll get into like a like battle. So whichever comment gets the most likes, then we can say, okay, that's the correct way to say it. I know in the past few videos I've said Krill, because that's how I've heard it. Maybe it's a regional thing. Maybe Southerners say Krill. Maybe those Yankee Doodle motherfuckers say Kryl. Maybe it's a Mario thing. I mean, with Kryl, it's like, hey, why don't you Kryl more? Because your grandpa's getting fucked up. I don't think anyone actually says that, though. I remember playing through this sequence. Well, I mean, spoiler alert for what happens later, but it was like, oh. So it looks like, certain somebody from FF7 wasn't the first. The most intense game of hula hoop ever. Now Galf looks like a really fucked up sprite that was painted in Mario Paint. Now, some of the drama is taken out of this fight just based on Galf's current job. I mean, it just doesn't quite work. I mean, if you were like a Mystic Knight or a Knight, or a Summoner, really pretty much anything else, honestly. Like Berserker would be fitting for this fight, honestly. But Geomancer, I mean, it's like, Xdeath, I'm gonna put on Santa's elf's clothes and fuck your shit up. That just doesn't have the gravity to it that you would want. I'll buy it. Also, taking Magic Shell off of him would have helped expedite things a little bit. Oh yeah? Well, I'm gonna protect myself even harder. Now, is Xdeath using his sword as a cane, or does he just not know how to, like, stance himself very well? What all is Xdeath wearing? I mean, it's very pixely. Me having blown up the video a little bit here, it's very, very pixely. But, I think he needs a fashion consultant. Ooh, now I know there's some drama happening here, but I just got psyched because Flare, I'm pretty sure you can get Flare for the Mystic Knight. You can get a nice spell sword there. I don't know what it does exactly. I'm assuming it just makes you do a shitload more damage. But shitload more damage is good, because Flare, despite being clearly a fire-based spell, I think in all the Final Fantasy games is non-elemental. I know later, like in FF7, Flare was kind of black and gray to more clearly sell the, this ain't elemental, but I think it's always been non-elemental. Help me out here, spell nerds. I don't know. Pretty sure that's the case. Now, this, is it possible, if you're a certain job, would one think like, oh man, he's kind of kicking my ass, I need to heal up? I mean, I was Geomancer, so obviously it was like, boom, you're dead instantly, no questions asked. You chose a terrible job. And Monty Python intro breaks out right there. It's It's Magic Shell. That's what it is. It turns out it's a really, really powerful passive thing to have on you. Well, what is it? Xdeath's fallen down sprite doesn't... It looks kind of weird. Looks kind of like a crab at the bottom with like taffy in front of it. It's his cape, but you know. I mean, change your clothes, Xdeath, is what I'm saying. Come on. And now, for the Final Fantasy emotional scene. They've all got to have one. At least. I know you had your comic asides, your overdone drama, but now for some intimate emotional moments. Every Final Fantasy's got to have one. What are your favorite Final Fantasy emotional moments? In 5 you have this. In 4 you had... Well, I don't really remember 4 so well. Some Rosa and Kane stuff. It's pretty emotional. Final Fantasy 6 you had Locke and Rachel. You had Shadow. Well, less so Shadow. 7 is obvious. 8. Well, 8 was just kind of bad. 10, you had making out in the water. It was kind of emotional, kind of weird. Final Fantasy 11, you had the emotion of wasting your money. 12, well, it's kind of bad too. So... Oh. Got control. See, this moment works because it's awkward, you don't really know what to say, and then gameplay-wise, not really sure what to do. Do you just leave now? It's all very awkward and confusing. I'm guessing just the trigger or the flag for the next sequence was time? Or having her go off screen briefly? Will you accept the charges? No, I won't. You see how much calls cost when you're like out of the country? I'm like out of the world, right? So, Grandpa, be nice to hear you one last time, but I gotta save. I gotta save my money. Maybe wait for me to get on Wi-Fi. We can text. The Guardian Tree will let you wear this embarrassingly large accessory. Krill/Kryl. We'll determine the canonical pronunciation at one point or another. In her portrait, she doesn't look that torn up about things. It's more kind of like, huh. Oh, you again, Grandma? Huh. I think she's fine. Well, that's kind of a mixed... Well, not even a mixed blessing. That's not a blessing at all. I hate to tell you what his abilities are, but... Basically berserkers for magic shit. No thank you. Turns out Xdeath's death was premature. Reports of Xdeath's death? Well, those should be X'd out, because it's didn't happen. What? I mean, didn't the crystals all go into his butt? That's probably destroyed by now. Action. Good. Action. Yep. Okay. Just fucking go. The drama's over. You've milked it enough. We got shit to do. I mean, I gotta finish this Fiesta in, like, a month. Gotta hurry. So with that, you're done for now. But next time, we will go to Exdeath's castle. I've heard it is called the Meat Fort. I don't remember it so well, but gotta change her from freelancer to geode dude, and we'll do that next time. Bye.